Welcome to Into the Blue, a weekly look behind the scenes of the Tampa Bay Lightning with reporters Gabby, Shirley, and Ben Pierce.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Into the Blue. Gabby, Shirley here with my co-host and co-worker, Ben Pierce. I'm coming at you from Dallas, Texas. Ben, it looks like you are home right now in Florida.
I am home. Yeah, left TGH today, went back to Emily and got the game notes done, and we're like, let's get out of here for once. Let's go spend some time at home. But happy to be home. I'm sure you were happy to be home for 48 hours, and now we're back on the road again.
Yeah, the schedule is crazy. I feel like we've been saying that all season, but it really is the case. The Tampa Bay Lightning had 3 games on the road. They came home for 1, and we have another 3-game road trip. So we just left Tampa. We're in Dallas. We play the Dallas Stars on Thursday. Ben, let's start off with this question. Can you believe there are only 15 regular season games remaining?
Yeah, no. I don't know how that's possible. Somebody made that comment to me the other day about the game notes, and forgive me if it was you, Gabby, because it's all a little blurry, but they were like, do you realize you've done 68 game notes packets? I'm like, that's a lot of random facts from your guy that loves random numbers. So apologies to everybody who's had to read 68 of those things. But yeah, it's winding right down. And you and I both these last couple of days talking to the guys have asked, like, do you feel that intensity? Like, can you guys sense the regular season's winding down? And they said, we're still taking it game by game, but I think everybody's kind of really starting to tune in here, and they know we're getting close to playoff time, and everybody's excited.
With that being said, let's get to the upcoming games. As I mentioned, 3-game road trip, Dallas, Utah, Vegas. So, Ben, the Tampa Bay Lightning will start with the Dallas Stars Thursday, 7 o'clock Dallas time, 8 o'clock in Tampa. Now, all 3 of these teams are playing really well. You cannot mess around facing any one of these opponents. But for Dallas, second in the Central Division, 89 points. What do you got? What do the Lightning need to do to get some wins on the road? Because their road record isn't that great.
No, but we kind of talked today on our other recording we did today. But we talked about the road record has not been great this season. However, this last couple months, it's actually been pretty decent. Obviously, February was a little funky with that 4 Nations in the middle. So they actually only played 2 road games, but they were 2-0 on the road in February. They are, I think it's 2 or 3-2-1 now. But essentially, they're 4-2-1 over the last 2 months on the road. And that's significantly better than the pace they had been on this season. So it looks like maybe they're starting to figure some of this stuff out. Now, the hard part is you're starting your road trip against this Dallas team that everybody kind of had pegged as maybe the favorite in the Western Conference 2 weeks ago. And then what do? They go out and get this massive addition in Mikko Rantanen that nobody even knew was going to be available, right? It's been a crazy couple of weeks for this Dallas team, but they're really, really good. And part of it is the strength. They play a super physical, a super rugged, simple game. And I did think it was funny when Coach John Cooper today, when he got asked about this road trip, about you're playing a couple of really good teams here. And he said, I keep thinking back to the 4 Nations. He's like, these are all people I was just seeing, talking. I know exactly what to expect for their game, but they're good teams, and we're going to have to be ready. And you look at this last road trip for Tampa Bay, they start 0-1 against Carolina. Then they lose that one in the shootout against Philly, and they salvage it with maybe the best period of the season against Boston in that second period, out shooting them 21-0. But like Darren Raddysh said after that 3rd game, to come back 1-1-1, he's like, going into a road trip, if you come back with 1 point, nobody's happy. You come back with 3, all of a sudden that really changes things. So sometimes it takes 1 game to get road trips back on track. But I'm guessing this most recent road trip probably maybe gave a little scare there, like, hey, just because we've been playing a little better doesn't mean it's a guarantee. So I think it's good they got that. Their last road win was fantastic against Boston. They're going to have to bring that against some really, really good teams here.
Yeah, Ben, and I'm excited to see the Dallas Stars because I don't pay that much attention to them when they're not facing the Tampa Bay Lightning. And the last time we saw them, I looked back at my notes. In quick summary, the Lightning, first of all, it was in November. So it was a while ago. But the Lightning played like 2 solid
Uh-oh.
I don't know what that alarm was for. Sorry,
Podcast is
guys.
starting, Gabby. Well, wake up,
Podcast
Gabby.
is starting later than I said. They played 2 solid periods, and then that third period is where they lost it. And John Cooper kind of summarized it saying, do you remember this quote, Ben? I wrote it down here. It's almost like the goals don't count unless they make the highlight reel. So he was just saying the Lightning were too many passes, trying to be too cute, weren't putting pucks on net, weren't just playing simple hockey, which is the recipe for success. So hopefully they can do that against the Stars on Thursday.
Well, you know what's funny about that? I had forgotten about that quote, but I remember in the moment being like, that's a phenomenal quote from an
Yeah.
NHL head coach, because it's a very honest and direct quote. But now that you say that, like this last week, we just talked about this road trip, about how they kind of felt like they had to salvage it with that Boston game. Do you remember what Cam Atkinson said after the Philadelphia win, or shootout loss, I should say?
Remind me.
Cam Atkinson said, quote, I think we're just trying to pass the puck into the net sometimes instead of capitalizing on our opportunities.
There we
And he
go.
said, if you have the opportunity to shoot the puck, I think we have to do more of that, and usually good things happen. Obviously, Cam speaking in that game after he scored the big game-tying goal in the third period against his former team with a laser of a shot from the high slot. And how many times have we seen, though, the Lightning get opportunities in the high slot and they pass to a corner, or they're trying to set up the right? So this is clearly a message that while Coop said that in November, it's fresh. This is something that this team is very focused on. Atkinson said it literally last week. So it's something they're focusing on, and they want to start shooting the puck more. Again, against Boston, they had, I think it was 41 shots on goal. I believe they finished within that game. So maybe we're starting to see more of a shot-hungry approach. But yeah, it's the ugly ones count too.
All I remember, Ben, is 21 shots to nothing in the second period against Boston. That was insane.
Crazy.
Okay, the next game, the Utah Hockey Club. The Tampa Bay Lightning will face them on Saturday. Afternoon game, local time, 5 o'clock in Tampa. Oh my gosh, Ben, what can we say about this game? Personally, I am so excited. I know it's like a new old team, considering this team just used to be in Arizona, but they've relocated. Thoughts?
Well, I mean, what can we say about this game? I can't wait to hear how your jacket holds up, because I know you were stressed out today whether you brought a thick enough jacket for Utah. So we'll have to see if there's any update on that. Make sure you're not freezing out there. But we had a pretty cool conversation this morning, you and I did, with JJ Moser, who obviously was with this franchise, old new technically franchise, last season in Arizona. And asked him about it, and he's like, yeah, I've got some good friends over there, excited to see some of those guys. But this Utah team, it looks refreshed this season. This will be the first time that the Lightning play Utah Hockey Club as an NHL franchise, and you see their games, you see the plays, and even some of like the media clips that go out of the guys talking post-game, and you hear some of how Utah and the community has embraced this franchise.
Yeah.
You can sense there's a new energy, and they're really excited to have this team. And a lot of times that fresh start can really energize a group. I think you're seeing it in Utah. They've got so many young players, and JJ kind of mentioned that this morning. Like I grew up, it was a pretty young group, so everybody got along. And that's still a pretty young team over there. And sometimes those young teams, when they're kind of coming up, learning how to win, they can be really dangerous because it's go, go, go. We got nothing to lose. Let's go for it. And they've got a lot of talents over there, and I think it's going to be a game where you definitely can't just breeze past it. I think Tampa Bay Lightning fans will be excited. We're kind of Googling around today to see if there was a leak of the new Utah Hockey Club logo yet, because supposedly they're in the works to fit in something with the Yeti. But we'll wait and see on that. But I know obviously you mentioned you're excited too.
Yeah, I can't wait to just see their arena. I also can't wait, I know Tampa Bay Lightning fans agree with this one, to see Mikhail Sergachev, a familiar name, familiar face. He actually made his debut with the Montreal Canadiens, but he spent the past 7 seasons with the Tampa Bay Lightning, helping them to win 2 Stanley Cups. And obviously, he is still very well loved in that locker room. Ben, I actually spoke to Eric Chernak, who has been his D partner, and Andrei Vasilevsky, a very good friend of his, today in the locker room. They were both really funny when I asked both of them, hey guys, do you mind? I'm jumping ahead of game, but I just wanted to ask you about you seeing Sergachev for the first time. And both of them in different ways said, we're not friends with him. I don't like that guy anymore. They were obviously kidding, but I laughed both times. But yeah, he's doing really well out there and good for him. Ben, I didn't realize this. Andrei Vasilevsky brought it up to me, but he is averaging, where is my number here, over almost 25 and a half minutes per game, which is third in the NHL. So he's getting a ton of ice time, playing really well. As you said, this team looks refreshed. The city has embraced them and vice versa. So, yeah, it should be interesting, and I'm excited to see Sergei.
Yeah, it'll be good. I'm sure everybody's excited to see Sergei, and obviously he's not coming to Tampa, so there won't be a video tribute or anything like that. But I'm sure he'll hear plenty throughout the game from the guys about him being on the wrong side of things. So it should be a fun thing to watch, and I'm sure we're going to get plenty of good stuff from you in that broadcast. So make sure everybody tunes in to check those out.
Yes. All right, final game of the 3-game road trip. The second half of a back-to-back, the Lightning play Utah Saturday, Vegas Sunday. Again, another team that you cannot mess around with when you're playing them. They are currently first in the Pacific Division, 86 points. Ben, thoughts?
That Western Conference is one of those teams comes out of that entire fight. Like
He's speechless.
It's insane, right?
Yeah.
And we've talked so much over the past couple of days about how much the East playoff race has really intensified in that wild card position, with everybody trying to make sure they're getting into that 7-8 spot. The Western Conference, it's almost like the top teams are just going to work every night, trying to move up. It's that time of the year for everybody.
Yeah.
Vegas is one of those teams that finds a way to just stay competitive, and they add different players. They do make a lot of moves, a lot of changes typically in the off seasons, but they're always in the mix. And that's a team that they find ways to win in different ways, but they've won, right? They've won a Stanley Cup.
They know how to do it.
They know, and they've got guys that have played different roles in different cities, and that can be a big thing. I mean, this is a team that expects to win, and we talked about the energy in Utah. Vegas has had that from their very first day, and I don't think it's slowed down. This is one of the, I don't know if premier is appropriate this soon in the, but that they've won a Stanley Cup. So maybe, right? Like, this is a very good team. You cannot walk in here and expect that, maybe we'll catch Vegas on an off night, because they really don't have too many of those. So that'll be another fun one. They're physical. They do a lot of the hard stuff in the corners. They do really well with the puck. It's another one of those teams you circle. You're like, I don't know what's going to happen, but I know it's going to be a blast to watch and get to take in.
I know. 3 really good games coming up for the Lightning, so be sure to tune in. Okay, we're going to speed it up a little bit. We took a lot of time, Ben, going through those 3 games, but our next topic is simply the Tampa Bay Lightning choosing to play with 11 forwards and 7 defensemen. We've seen them do this a ton, but it's happening again, more and more frequently, it seems. Ben, 3 of the last 4 games, that is what they have gone with, 11 forwards, 7 D-men, and it possibly could have been 4 of the last 5. That 5th game, Hedman was hurt, so they didn't even have that option. Give me your, I guess I should just ask you, why do you think that has been working for this team?
Well, it's nothing new for this group. We've asked Coop about it a couple different times throughout this season, about what he likes about it, and he said, well, it depends if we're at home or on the road.
There's a lot of elements there, right?
Who we're playing. There's a lot of math that actually goes into it, and who's healthy. It's the biggest thing about it, though, is the Lightning have the luxury of having 7 defensemen who can play 15 to 20 minutes of NHL hockey a night on any given night. Mm-hmm. And quite frankly, not every NHL team can say that. You might have 7 defensemen that can play in the NHL, but 7 defensemen that you can trust to play 15 to 20 minutes, maybe not. And we've seen a bunch of different pairings and combinations, and I think that's kind of started to cement now with J.J. Moser coming back. We've seen a lot of Hedman and Moser, and then McDonough and Chernak. That's been such that really solid second pair, but between Lilleberg, Raddysh, and Perbix, I think they all bring a different element to the game. And that's nice because you can kind of do a better job of opponent matching and saying, hey, we might need
Right.
some more offense tonight. Maybe it's a great night for Darren Raddysh, who's on fire from the back end offensively. And we'll get to Darren Raddysh, who had his spotlight taken in just a little bit. But I just think it gives you the flexibility for pairings and matchups. And it also allows you that maybe then you get some extra ice time. With only 11 forwards, you're going to have to rely on Nikita Kucherov, Jake Gensel, Braden Point, Cirelli, Hagel, Nick Paul. And when the game comes down to it, those are the guys you want on the ice, right, to try to score either the game-winning goal, the tying goal, whatever it might be. So there are some pluses and negatives to it, but the biggest thing is they've got 7 NHL defensemen. Why not take advantage of it, make sure everybody's fresh just in case? I'm knocking on wood on the desk here. Something happens and somebody gets hurt, everybody's ready to go if you need them. So it's kind of a win-win for this group that they have that option.
That was summarized so nicely, Ben, because as you touched on, there are so many things that go into it, things that we'll probably never know from the coaching staff.
Yeah,
But
people
yeah,
smarter
you
than
just
us.
brought up a lot of points just as far as matchups, different things, right versus left, home versus away. Yeah, a ton of things. But it's working, so why not stick with it? And that being said, Ben, there's a chance that we could see something totally different against the Dallas Stars.
Yeah, we talked about 11-7, so I expect to see 12-6 tomorrow because that's
exactly.
how it goes,
it's,
right?
It's very possible. We shall see. The Lightning do have a morning skate before Dallas, so hopefully I'll get something there. Okay, you talked about Darren Raddysh and that the spotlight was stolen from him in the last game at home at Amalie Arena against the Philadelphia Flyers. Then we got to talk about it because I feel like everyone in the hockey world is also talking about it. His 94-year-old grandmother, her name is Lorraine Emerson, was at that game, and it was her first ever NHL game. And we should say, Ben, to put it all into context, she doesn't live across the state. She lives in Georgetown, Ontario, near Toronto, so it was quite a journey for her to get here, and she was the star. Started in the beginning. I saw her as she was coming in. She had her seat. She was there all game. She was on the Jumbotron. That clip, perhaps viral is the correct terminology, has been shared countless times, like I said, across this entire league. And then I saw Darren, she was in a wheelchair, wheeling her back out to the car after the game, after the win.
I have to admit, we talk all the time about favorites and things that happen throughout the season. This might have been my favorite moment at Amalie Arena so far this season. And we got to give credit to Gabby Shirley. I know you hate when we do that and give you the credit, but that entire process of you talking to the family and Darren and just sharing that story, every time I open my phone for the last 48 hours, I hear Gabby Shirley's voice because I hear the interview or it's your voiceover as they show grandma on the screen just absolutely jamming. But that was so cool seeing her get her groove on up there, and the fans loved it. Everybody, she got a wonderful reception, and one of those moments that it's not a hockey moment. It has nothing to do with the season overall, but I guarantee you that's something that none of us are going to forget when the season's all said and done. Just a tremendous story. You could tell it meant a lot to Darren, too, to Raddy, in his postgame interview with you. Again, if you haven't seen it, go check it out. It's a tremendous story, tremendous moment, and that's about all you can say. It was so good. So great job on that. It's for sure a top 5 moment this season.
So good. We love Grandma. Okay, let's move on to our Blue Line segment. I have been awful. I've said it before. I'll say it again at sharing the phone number. But if you're listening, you want to write it down, 813-301-6749. You can call in, leave us a voicemail. We will play it in the podcast. You can also ask us questions on X. And Ben, we got a lot of good ones today. We had a tough time choosing.
And we've been asking you guys, to keep them coming. We had it was tough choosing.
We've been saying step it up.
And you did. You stepped up. So we appreciate you. Which one would you like to start with, Gab?
I'm going to go with, and I'm going to put it on you because you're just more knowledgeable here. But we had multiple questions on Isaac Howard. So I picked this one from Mikey. He asks, any rumblings on Isaac Howard? Is Julien Brisebois watching him play? What are the chances he comes up at the end of the season? Ben, you and I talked about it. We have not consulted Julien Brisebois or upper management, but you have a good feel on just logistically what the Tampa Bay Lightning are likely to do with Howard. Want to give us your thoughts on that?
Yeah, and obviously we've been getting a ton of questions about Isaac Howard, and deservedly so. For anybody who hasn't seen yet, earlier today he was just named a top 10 finalist to possibly win the 2025 Hobie Baker Award, which is given to the top Division I player at the NCAA each season. Number 1 overall pick, Macklin Celebrini, was the winner last year. So these are the top players in
Big
college
names.
hockey.
Yep.
And he's very deserving about it. It's just a matter of how does this work with the cap and the contract situation and everything that's going on. I know you guys are excited about the idea of maybe seeing him in Tampa Bay Lightning blue. I will say the biggest takeaway from our midseason availability with Julien Brisebois, the GM of the Tampa Bay Lightning, when we asked him about Isaac Howard, he said he's noticed the growth. And the quote from Brisebois was, he's trending really positively. Now, you hear that from an NHL GM, obviously everybody gets really excited, like, okay, here we go. And you don't expect, I wouldn't think, the Tampa Bay Lightning to sign Isaac Howard right now. And I say that because when Julien talked about it, he said, when it comes to a player like Isaac, we want him to focus entirely on his college season. He said, when that season wraps up, we'll touch base and see if something makes sense for both sides. But listen, Isaac Howard is about to play in the Big Ten Conference Championship on Saturday. It's a big game coming up. That season is not over for Michigan State. I mean, you're talking about the number 2 ranked team in the country that has real national championship aspirations. He's got plenty on his plate. Brisebois said, we'll touch base when that season's over and see. But the hard part is, too, like the Lightning are basically contracted out at this point after the trade deadline, right? This is a full roster. They've maximized every salary cap situation, and you don't necessarily want to call up these kind of players and sign them because you burn a year of that entry-level deal, the 3-year contract, right? So I would expect maybe we wait until the offseason, see what happens. But again, there's PTOs, there's different things you can try maybe at the American Hockey level, league level. Wow, that was a fumble. But they've got options. And I will say that for fans wondering where things sit today, there will be a story coming out tomorrow, the Tampa Bay Lightning website. Obviously, the Lightning are very focused on their season as well. They're looking at the playoffs, the group they've got in that locker room. But with everything going on with Isaac Howard and the Hobie Baker conversation, I talked with Michigan State University head coach Adam Nightingale about Isaac Howard and what he's seen this season. And there's going to be a story coming out talking to him about the growth that he's seen. For those that maybe thought this was a guy who has just dominated his entire career, he's got 24 goals this season for Michigan State, which is a lot, and it's 35 games. So, I mean, that's really solid. He's more than a point-per-game player. But this is a guy who had 14 goals combined over his first 2 NCAA seasons. And he's now almost doubled that. He just hit 100 career points NCAA. He's really taken a step this season. My favorite quote from Coach Nightingale at MSU was, his inner drive to be great is unique. So they're really seeing something there. And Brisebois gave the Michigan State program a lot of credit. Said, we've seen that growth, especially in the two-way, the physical, the strength. So this is a guy everybody's excited about. Obviously, I don't think anything's coming in the immediate future, but it's definitely somebody that fans can be excited about seeing maybe in the future. So that story's coming out tomorrow. You can check out the Lightning website for that one.
Ben, all your stories are solid, but I am so excited for this one. This one sounds really cool.
It was fun. It was really cool, and it's fun talking to the college coach, right? Because these are the guys that, quote unquote, shape the boys into men, right? They give them all the tough love and tell them what they're good at, what they need to work on, and it was a really cool conversation, and I'm excited to see it get published. So.
Wow. Can't wait. Okay, everyone, look for that story. Our second question here is from Karen. Does the team have the same pilots and flight attendants for every flight? Well, Karen, we're recording this on Wednesday. I just got off a plane. We flew, obviously, from Tampa to Dallas. And I can tell you that no, the pilots and flight attendants change, although sometimes I see familiar faces. When that happens, when familiar faces are on board, it feels a little bit like family. I get the big greeting, hi, Gabby. Sometimes I get either a cheese plate and crackers delivered to me without asking. That's usually my go-to. Or an Uncrustable peanut butter and jelly sandwich. also delicious. Those are my two favorite plain foods.
You and your Uncrustables.
This is a new thing this season. This is new. They were just added to the plain menu. But yeah, it consistently changes. But again, there is a bit of a rotation and we do see some familiar faces. Now, prior to my start here, so this is my 4th season, the Tampa Bay Lightning, it is my understanding that they always had at least the same flight crew, flight attendants. I'm pretty sure, gosh, I hope I am not getting her name wrong because I never met her, but I'm pretty sure there was a woman on Bonnie, a woman named Bonnie on board. She was there for every single flight and she like felt like the players were her kids and like took care of them. If they ever asked for something that wasn't on the plane, she would make sure the next time they were there that they had it, different special things. A lot of times like a specific food item or a specific beverage would be left at their seats. Like that's pretty cool. So it has changed since, as I said, but it is still lovely. We fly in luxury.
Hey, we talked about the great questions. When we got this question today, I looked at you and I'm like, I don't even have a guess for that answer. Like,
Yeah.
This was a phenomenal question. So we appreciate all
one.
of you that submitted questions. Keep them coming because we had some great ones we couldn't get to this week, and we'd love to answer them in the future. So thank you guys for your questions. Some really good ones of late.
Everyone's favorite, or maybe just ours, Ben, the plus minus segment. You know what? I need you to start us off. Give us your plus of the week. I have no guesses as to what it is, so I'm excited.
You don't have a guess?
No guesses.
Okay, so this is kind of a different run at the plus, but I have to give a shout out to 11-year-old Parker Wares, a very hardcore Tampa Bay Lightning fan who was here this week for the Lightning win over Philadelphia. Was that Monday, 2 days ago? So Parker was the fan who got to get the place going, get Emily going with the Tesla coil pregame. And this is a young man currently battling brain cancer. And his family was here. They took a trip to Tampa Bay, to Amalie Arena, because they wanted to give him kind of a positive send-off before he begins chemotherapy. Now, if you met this kid, you would never have any idea that he was in the middle of a fight with cancer. He was so positive, so happy, making jokes, laughing, smiling. And I just have to say, like, the other part of this plus, too, is there are times I'm still pretty new. You know, I'm not quite fully seasoned in yet, but there's times when I sit back and I realize just how fortunate I am to work where I do. And we hear all the time first-class approach, you know, things like that with the Lightning. And seeing Victor Hedman come out, it was an optional skate, optional come to the rink day. So these guys didn't even have to be there. Hetty was not skating that day. He decided to come out of the locker room after learning that he was Parker's favorite player. He came out of the back room, got a stick, signed it for him, gave it to him, and took a picture with not only him, but his siblings. He signed a bunch of stuff for him. And, like, that was one of those moments that I'm sitting there, and when Hedman asked him if he wanted his stick, the kid literally, like, jaw open, like, really?
Jaw hit the floor. Yep.
I feel so blessed to work in an environment, in a place where that's the culture. And, you know, that's something that family will never forget. I got to talk to his father. There's a story on the Tampa Bay Lightning website talking about his journey and what this week meant to them. It's bigger than just pucks and big hits and hockey fights. And my plus was just getting to witness that. And all the best to the Wares family, because they got a warrior there, that guy. Like I said, you could never guess that he was going through a tough time, and he didn't show it at all. So shout out to the Wares family. We're thinking of you guys, and pretty proud to work where I do.
Okay, great plus. And also, Ben, I'm going to go ahead and say it. Great minds think alike, because my plus is similar. It does not have to do with that individual and that family. However, we mentioned Darren Raddysh's grandmother. And my plus is everyone that we work with, everyone that works for this Tampa Bay Lightning organization that went out of their way to make sure she just had the time of her life.
And she
right,
did.
Ben? Like, I guess, I mean, and also maybe it should start with, you were giving me credit, but like it should start with the Raddysh family. I had a chance to really get to know them this past summer because we were there in Darren's hometown for Bolt's beginnings. So his dad actually texted me out of the blue, like 10 days prior to her arrival saying, hey, guess what? I told a couple people, but then I also overheard Darren telling one of my coworkers, like, hey man, like, let me tell you what's going on. So they were like so excited that she was going to be there that they wanted to share it with us. But right, Ben, like, I mean, I could do a little hit on it on TV and I could have shared it with our video team and they could have said, we don't have room for it or we're busy tonight. But like everyone, I just felt like went above and beyond, from like, it might have been our boss, Ben, like acquiring tickets to making sure, like I saw her getting wheeled into the arena at that player family entrance in a wheelchair. So like someone had to acquire that and make sure it was ready for her right when she got there. And then there was a first game voucher that she got and a first game puck, usually given to kids, but it was her first game. Why not? I mentioned our video team, Gabe Marte and crew. They had a mic on her the entire game and they were filming her the entire game because they thought it was that important. And then another one of our coworkers, Felicia, she is in charge of the in-game presentation, and she was the one that found her seat, put her up there for the dance cam, had another camera on Darren Raddysh. That's the clip that everyone's seeing. So like, as you said, you feel so fortunate to work for this Tampa Bay Lightning organization. I could not agree with you more. Like, I'm not meaning to say it's a little thing, but just a small story in game, what was it, 67 of the regular season. And like everyone dropped everything they were doing to make sure that Darren Raddysh's grandmother had the best possible experience and that she was treated as like such an important member of this Tampa Bay Lightning team. So
Well,
that
now
was
she's
really
a Lightning
special for
legend.
me.
So
She is. She is a legend. Darren Raddysh called her a legend, said she is a legend amongst his family. I feel like she's a legend amongst the NHL right now.
she is. That's a great plus. We're, couldn't work for a better team. So we're both very proud of that, I know. So I went first for my plus. Would you like to go first for your minus? Because I think you're going to make fun of me for my minus.
Perfect. I can't wait. Well, my minus should be that I like keep fidgeting with my hair. For anyone that's watching this, I'm really sorry. Having a rough hair day. My actual minus, Ben, is being around our lovely staff for as much as I am, because this team has been traveling nonstop. It has come to my attention just some better life habits that I should be practicing. And one of them is when you set an alarm in the morning to just get up. It doesn't sound that hard, but I have fallen into the habit of setting 4 alarms and then just kind of choosing when I want to get up and willy-nilly, maybe getting a slow start to my day, like just a bunch of baloney. Now, I will say that part of the problem for me personally, Ben, you might be a little bit better, but I like go to the arena, go to the rink based on the activities of the day. So I don't have to be at work at 9:30 every morning. So that definitely doesn't help me, but still, I feel that I'd be more productive if I just could pick a time when my alarm goes off, get up, and get moving. I've tried. For a couple days here, I have not succeeded, but I will be better. That's my minus. I'm
Okay,
failing.
that's crazy because I swear to God that was almost my minus, was my alarm clock. It actually, well, like before I realized what a better one was, that was going to be my minus. So we're clearly on the same wavelength, but that's fair. Now your alarm clock just goes off when we start recording the podcast instead.
Yeah, I literally think that's actually pretty funny, but I literally think that was me last night setting like a bajillion, like that was around 5 maybe. Like there's a chance I
Okay.
did that because I needed to pack my suitcase.
Yep, AM instead of PM, Gabby.
AM.
Come on.
Yeah,
Come on.
PM, disastrous. Okay,
That's a good minus.
thank you.
My
That's great.
minus is like, I don't know if this is just small world thinking coming from Wisconsin, but pollen and spring in Tampa Bay, I was so unprepared.
You're hurting?
Well, it's not even my allergies. It's like,
Your
you should
car?
see me when I get home from the rink and I'm in the parking lot, and I think I moved parking spaces like 3-4 times because I'm like looking up, I'm like, am I under that leaf? Is that thing gonna get me? I'm like looking, and I think I'm fine. I think I'm in a good spot, and I come out the next day, and my car is covered in green, and I drive a red car. So all of a sudden, I look like the Grinch going to work every day with my Christmas car. And I'm like, it looks terrible. It's so dirty. The windshield drives me insane. I think I've washed my car 4 times this week.
That's hilarious. Is it terrible? I'm not making fun of you, but I'm just admitting right here that I haven't even noticed the pollen.
Well, right, because and the hard part for me too is when we lived in Wisconsin, we had a 2-car garage. We both parked indoors, so it was never, even in the spring or fall, it wasn't a big deal. Now, living in an apartment complex, the parking's outdoors. It's driving me absolutely nuts. And it is such a small world, like tiny violin minus. But I don't know where the pollen's coming from, and I don't know why it always attacks my car, because I look around and I swear everybody else's car isn't that bad. And I'm like, am I missing something? Like, am I getting pranked right now?
That's really
like,
funny.
Like, that's the guy that doesn't shut up on the podcast. I'm going to go dump pollen on his car. Like, what? I don't know. But the pollen in spring is kicking my rear right now. So that's going to be my minus.
Well, Ben, thank you. Thanks for nothing, because now I'm going to be paying attention to it and probably am going to be freaking out as well.
Perfect.
Because I also park outside.
Perfect. I'm glad I could do that for you.
Thank you for that. Okay, we're going to wrap it up here with the Question Corner segment. We have a winner. Our last question was at home against the Flyers on Monday. How many goals would the Tampa Bay Lightning score? The answer, 2. A lot of people guessed pretty high, which is fair. I probably would have said more goals as well, but it was just 2. Kevin, you are our winner. Congratulations. You will be getting a signed Tampa Bay Lightning puck. All right, Ben, because I was on a plane, internet not working, I didn't even send you an outline. So congratulations for doing a fantastic job with no notes here.
Let's go.
I have the question. Hopefully you'll like it.
All right,
the question for this week, and actually we didn't even talk about it, but I'm just going to tell you. Tampa Bay Lightning special teams right now, top 5 in the league, both for the power play and for the penalty kill. Penalty kill has been perfect for the past 5 games? 6 games.
5. The past 5 games, they are batting 100.
5 games.
1,000? Jesus, what is
Beautiful.
up with this podcast right now?
We
batting 100.
We really need to wrap
good.
it up here. But with that being said, I would like to know, how will the Lightning penalty kill do on Tuesday against the Pittsburgh Penguins? So, Ben, I hope this is a fair question. I want to know if you think the Tampa Bay Lightning were a perfect 3 for 3. Pittsburgh Penguins had 3 power plays. The Lightning killed all 3 off. They let up 1 goal, 2 for 3. That's what I'm looking for.
Okay.
You like it?
So there's some flexibility here. I do like it.
Yeah,
like
lots
it.
of different options.
Yeah, I mean, month of March right now, they're second in the NHL since March 1st. So the 24 for 26. It is a very good group right now. But we hope you guys have some good answers. And hopefully that number is not a lot of penalties, but still 100%. So with that, would you like me to read our rules and regs?
Yeah, I totally forgot about them. Go for it.
It's all good. Each Thursday morning during the 2024-2025 Tampa Bay Lightning regular season, as the Into the Blue podcast is released, we're giving you a chance to win an autographed puck from a Lightning player. During the show, we will pose a statistical question related to that subsequent week's upcoming games, and you will have until Sunday night of that week to get your guess in as to what the correct answer will be. You can respond to our post on X from the Bolts Radio account or email radio@tampabaylightning.com. We will pick one winner at random from all the correct entries, and no purchase or payment is necessary. Restrictions will apply. You can visit tampabaylightning.com/intotheblue-rules for full rules, prize description, odds, and other info, and that is void where prohibited.
Oh my gosh. We got him in. I was forgetful there. Sorry about that.
Hey, you know what? Better us than our poor producer Steve having to come in after the fact and add him in. So we got you, Steve. We're Steve's minus this week. And with that,
we're going to wrap it up. Ben, I will see you in 3 Tampa Bay Lightning games. Let's cross our fingers for some wins on the road.
All right, bring some wins home. Let's do it.
Bye.
See ya.
Follow the Lightning Audio Network on social media @Bolts Radio. And don't forget to hit subscribe in your favorite podcast app so you never miss an episode of Into the Blue.